This is the broadcast of the City Council meeting for February 1, 2023. It should be getting started here in just a couple of minutes. Programming note, tomorrow, the Conduit is having a legislative roundup. It'll begin at 1 p.m. We will have a conversation about immigration with Mauro Mora from La Resistencia. At 2 p.m., prison reform with Kelly Olson of Civil Survival. At 3 p.m., we'll have housing with Michelle Thomas from the Washington Low Income Housing Alliance. And at 4 p.m., housing and homelessness advocacy days and resident action project with Poe and Duhama. And then at 5 p.m., transportation equity with Paulo Nunez Uno from Front and Center. So you don't want to miss tomorrow. The link is there for you. If you have not, please subscribe, like, and share to the Conduit so you never miss out on these updates so that you can have the latest and greatest information. All right, like I said, City Council should be starting here momentarily. As always, you can either go in person to City Council or you can join the feed and make public comment, which is important. They tend to listen to their constituents. At least there's a higher probability of that happening if you make your needs known. So the Zoom link is there in the chat if you would like to do that. Every first and third Wednesday is the City Council meeting. Every second and fourth is their study session, which will only be recorded. And then if there's a fifth Wednesday, then there is no meeting. Okay, so this is the first meeting for the month of February. And as I said, we'll get started here momentarily. All right. Also, Saturday is Transportation Equity Day. It's Rosa Parks' birthday. Gather together, grow together. Kitsap Black Student Union, New Horizon Ministries will be celebrating Transit Equity Day at New Horizon Ministries at 4040 Wheaton Way, Suite 203 at 2 p.m. The youth of Kitsap Black Student Union will be performing and educating us on transportation equity. We're also going to feed you. So spaghetti, fried chicken, all are open to come on out. Mayor Greg Wheeler will be proclaiming Saturday, February 4th as Transit Equity Day. So you won't want to miss it. That will also be broadcast live. But again, why not come on down and meet us if you feel safe being in a group of folks and come and enjoy that event. And the last programming note is we are proud to say our birthday is coming up. All right. Our birthday is February 8th.
Recording in progress.
45 minutes. 5:30, we move down here to the first floor chambers to conduct the council meeting in person. And because we encourage community involvement, we invite the public to join us either in person or participate remotely through Zoom or view via BKAT. First up tonight, we have the mayor's report. Welcome, Mayor Wheeler. Mayor Wheeler's here at the moment. Mayor is not present at the moment. So I believe we're able to move on to the consent agenda. We can come back to that item. So we'll go ahead to the consent agenda, and we have Deputy Clerk Lori Smith filling in tonight.
Good evening. So under the consent agenda, we have claims and check register, approval of the following checks and electronic fund transfers. Check numbers 401472 through 401737 and electronic fund transfers B36697 through B 36828 in the grand total amount of $6,629,763.06. Regular payroll payout for pay period ending January 15th, 2023 in the amount of $2,499.31. Retiree payroll for pay period ending January 31st, 2023 in the amount of $51,122.13. 4B, minutes of meeting January 18th, 2023. Item 4C, minutes of study session January 25th, 2023. Item 4D, professional services agreement with Parametrics Incorporated for the design of the Francis Street Outfall Improvements Project. Item 4E, contract modification agreement number 3 with Herrera Environmental Consultants for the Pine Road Stormwater Improvements Project. Item 4F, amendment number 2 to the interlocal agreement between the Transportation Benefit District of Bremerton and the Washington State Department of Licensing. This concludes the reading of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Does any member of the public wish to comment on any one of these specific items? So come up to the podium, or we'll look for hands on Zoom real quick. Any hands on Zoom? Go ahead and go to the council for a motion. Member Dennehy.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilmember Fry. All right, with that, I call for the question.
Chamberlain? Yes. Fry?
Yes.
Dennehy?
Yes.
Goodnow?
Yes.
Mochler?
Yes.
Younger?
Yes.
Coughlin?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. We'll now, seeing Mayor Wheeler, we'll go ahead and go back to item number 3, the mayor's report. Welcome, Mayor Wheeler.
Council President, laptop just crashed.
Okay, well, let's pause for a moment. We'll figure out IT issues. Is the Zoom meeting public broadcast crashing or just the slides? Okay.
Well, good evening, Council. We'll just give Dave a little time, of course. One thing I think we've all learned from the pandemic, especially with technology, is we offer grace. You know, technology's been a great outcome. You know, as far as some of the things we can take away to embrace and harness, but there's also still difficulties with it. And it really doesn't replace in person. Keep business moving. We sure are. We're utilizing that. I know you are too. Just a few items tonight. Pump stations. Yeah, we've got a pump station briefing I'll give you, and you'll see why, even though this work is very important, you'll see why this one's got a couple of extra features to it that I think are interesting. Infrastructure. So this is a big one coming our way. Washington 11th, as you can see, design's completed just at the end of 2022. And this is just one picture of the roundabout. You see just a little bit of heading north on the Washington Boulevard, Washington Avenue. There's wide sidewalks, repaving, of course, extra lighting, a lot of nice features coming our way. Construction spring of 2023, completion of this project by the end of 2023. So exciting project coming in, really going to improve, I think, traffic flow in that area, and of course, the walkability and cycling also for that area. Next slide, please. So this is, I wanted to brief you a little bit on this. This is obviously flood mitigation project. But if you look down at these streets and where the work's going to be occurring, there has been a lot of issues over the years with flooding. And so this is it's a long overdue project. We've made it a priority to get this fixed. And there are several houses in the Eagle Avenue, the Robin Avenue area that are going to really appreciate these improvements. And again, it's long overdue, but look forward to correcting these very long historic issues that plague that area. So yeah, that's just a little example, a little picture of the construction project. So if folks see that, they'll know what's going on. All right, next slide. All right, pump station. So this is up near Schley Canyon in that area. And obviously you can see the explanation. It's next to the Bremerton Ice Arena near the YMCA facility. But the two features on this, besides just being a good infrastructure project, support, a critical service that we provide, it also is going to have a public restroom associated with it. And one of the two things that'll be important with this restroom is, one, it'll serve the community members who use the Madrona trails, and also it'll support bridge to bridge walk that we're promoting. So it's just a little piece of infrastructure that's going to just again make that walk a little more pleasant and make the whole area just it's just going to be a good project. So that's it. I believe that's it. Dave, take a look, see if we have another slide. That is it, Council. Thank you for allowing me to come up and speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Wheeler. All right, next up on our agenda is item 5, public recognition. As noted, public recognition provides an opportunity for attendees to address the council on any city-related item that's not already listed on tonight's agenda. So if you have something you want to speak up on, please come up to the podium or raise your hand on Zoom, and we will recognize you. We just ask that you state your name for use in the record, and request if you live or work in the city, and that you limit your comments to 3 minutes or less, and we'll have a timer system to make sure everyone's treated equally. And so with that, I'll open up public recognition and start right here at the podium in the room. Please go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and happy Black History Month. As you all know, I'm Erin Hale. I'm the Executive Director of the Downtown Bremerton Association, and I want to thank you kindly for designating the funds for this position and giving the DBA an opportunity through Main Street accreditation to get a leg up in the community. I would like to provide every new and existing business important resources, including which number to call, for example, if a homeless person happens to be sleeping in their doorway. And I would also love to be directed to the best departments that knows of every new business that happens to come our way, so that the DBA can properly welcome them to the community. So you can, if you don't mind, sharing and directing all resources to Erin at Downtown Bremerton. Two ends. In speaking with a few of the Downtown Bremerton businesses, obviously their number one complaint is parking. They say not enough street parking. They have a fear of safety while parking in the garage, and they have a fear of what parking might look like once Quincy Fair is completed. And some businesses have shared that employees of other businesses are unfortunately parking in the short-term or temporary parking in front of their business. So in speaking through some solutions with Corey at Gastropub, we thought of an idea to work with the years of the parking garage was to create some videos or some photo profiles of the security officer that's now on staff, and the improvements on lighting, and just to shift some perceptions in the community. We also had some ideas of creating a GoPro experience, comparing what it's like to park maybe down the street in downtown Bremerton and the time it takes to get to your destination versus parking at the mall in that giant parking lot and walking to the front door of your destination. I will be commencing a business-to-business newsletter within the downtown corridor, sharing various ideas, highlighting kind of parking perception and how it really needs to change with business owners and their customers, and changing that negative into a positive, and as well as encouraging employees to park in parking garages or side streets in order to open up temporary parking in front of businesses. I would love to point out businesses of note as well as some events coming up. Obviously, the Mercantile just opened, and in talking with Jimmy Harris about his business, he's so excited to train all of his
Sorry,
employees
just a 10-second.
Oh, sorry.
To wrap up.
to be ambassadors of the downtown corridor. And so he's giving them a tour of all of the businesses. I wanted to highlight Phallus Books that carry Bremerton just in time for St. Patrick's Day, which we'll have a parade on March 11th. Rain Drinks is next Thursday. And for this First Friday. So anyway, I just want to encourage everyone to support the downtown business corridor, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hale, and I know it's been a long time goal of both council administration to assist in creating your position, and it is fantastic to see that it's been filled, and thank you for the feedback for local businesses to council administration and how the city can support them. All right, next up, we'll go to the next person in the room. Please go ahead.
Hello, Council. Thank the mayor for this report. Really appreciated hearing the updates that's going on in the city. Just a couple of things I wanted to address, and I'll get out of your hair pretty quickly here. First, my name is Michael Ellington. I'm a Reverend Pastor of New Horizon Ministries here in Bremerton. I live here in Bremerton off John Carlson. A couple of things I want to bring to the city's attention that I'd like to see done. Have some emphasis put in the city is one, sidewalk. Sidewalk there. That have a safe passage there and make sure there's sidewalks extending in front of the school and a block or so in either direction, and have the city put some money towards that. I like the mayor's proposal of what's going on with Washington and 11th and the bathrooms. It's interesting to see the 2.7 million up there on the screen there, and I'd like to see the city put some emphasis towards permanent bathroom facilities for our houseless population. And I do appreciate the $10,000 you guys put towards providing for their bath facilities, but I think they need some permanent accessibility as well. Last thing, I think District 6, Ms. Mockler, I think you spoke at the last open meeting like this about the transit dollar ride service and the money that that Transit's putting towards that. I'm wrapping up. I would like to see the city council support one of our local transportation companies gather together, grow together as they do provide transportation. Suggest them to as a dollar ride service for the Bremerton area. Transit has always been an issue of mine. When I got installed as pastor, first thing I did was move my services to Saturdays because there's no bus service on Sundays, and so it's that important to me that I kind of broke with tradition. I get a lot of funny eyes from some of the other pastors because of that. So yeah, let's have a little bit of thought towards equity for the less fortunate. And again, I appreciate all that you guys are doing, the hard work that you're doing and everything. I'll get out of here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your service to the community, and thanks for all those excellent suggestions. Much appreciated. There's another person in the room. Walking up to the podium, please go ahead.
Hi, I'd like to welcome just the light. Okay. I was here 3 weeks ago. I embarrassed myself. I was here with 4 other people who were going to talk to you, and it was a study session. And we couldn't make it the following week, and they can't make it today, but I just wanted to share. Maybe they'll come another time. It is a story of what's happened to my daughter, who is severely disabled, and her care provider, who is brown. And this experience that she has had while taking my white daughter out for a walk in our community. In the course of a month, on at least 3 occasions, she had other white people walk up to her and somehow ask the question, like, is she okay? Is the little disabled girl okay? Now, I've never been questioned. None of her white care providers have ever been questioned. And she felt, we all felt pretty confident that it had to do with the fact that she didn't look like the mother or a family member, but it's inappropriate and it made her feel very uncomfortable. Like, how can she do her job? When someone came right up to her, she was putting Claire, my daughter, in the car, and someone's like right there, right at the door. So that she really, in that moment, had to think, what if this was somebody who was here to hurt her? Would I be able to like pick her up and run with her? So all of that said, in order to express what it is that people experience in this community, cultural problems in our community that white people aren't going to know about. And the work that you're doing to try and fix React, get the office that the mayor is establishing, that work that's going on, keep up with it and get it sorted out because we really need it here. And I want to support the toilet discussion. I'm really glad to hear we're going to be getting some permanent stuff and that we're thinking that way. And I'm going to ask somebody later to tell me which department did the $10,000 go to, so we can follow up and see what's going to happen with that for the and also to amplify the message that I'm a little confused about what's happening with the ride share, but they've got it in South Kitsap. We don't have it here. G2 is a resource. As they pursue that, I hope you'll support G2 in providing that service for our neighborhood.
Thank you so much for your comments, and I want to encourage you folks can always email the city, especially the City Council, anytime at city.council.ci.bremerton.lodge.us. So we can get questions answered. And just one of your points, I know we had the joint retreat, council mayor and judge as well this past weekend, and race equity we did spend a considerable amount of time discussing, and I think we have a path forward. So I appreciate it. Anyone else for public comments? Just to check that we will be discussing the item on the library later, but it's a separate permit.
This is separate. Hi, Mayor and Council. My name is Lisa. I'm a resident of Bremerton and also the chair of the Housing and Homelessness Coalition. I just want to thank you for promoting Project Connect, which was excellent last week. Anna, thank you for sharing the spectrum of public participation. I have a better one for you. And just thank you for supporting the community in that effort. It's good service to the people who are unsheltered or vulnerable in our community. Much appreciation. Thanks.
Thank you for your thank you, and great to hear it was a success. Please go ahead.
Hi, Jane Rebolowski. I'm a resident of Bremerton. The Downtown Business Association is talking about lack of parking. I think we still have those kind of sad looking on-street eating areas that look pretty run down. And if we get them back up on the sidewalk, now that we can be a little closer and open up that parking, they're looking pretty raggy. So we can take care of that. And the other thing, I just can't wait until we actually have public toilets for our people who are unhoused. I mean, we're spending millions for bridge walkers, 10,000s drop in the bucket for downtown. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And Mayor Director Nucky, do you want to quickly mention the streeteries? Up to you, not no worries. Just because I know that's in the works.
I'll do that. So there's there are 4 streams that were put in place under the rules that were established during the pandemic. One of those, actually the one on 4th Street by the Roxy, was actually removed last week, I believe, earlier this week. The other 3 are still remaining. We're in the process right now of developing a policy for a permanent streetery, and the rules would be quite a bit different for the new streeteries, but we don't want to really pull the rug out from underneath the existing businesses, and so we're going to try to work with them as we develop the policy, and then move that forward after we work on it.
Thank you so much. Anybody else for public recognition, and see any hands on Zoom? All right, we'll go to the conduit with Marlon Cameron. Please go ahead.
Good evening, City Council and the Mayor. Hope your day is going well. Just wanted to talk about an initiative that many of us are trying to get pushed through as a bill. Only 5% of us have access to frequent transportation here in Kitsap County. And so I just want to bring that attention to City Council and to the Mayor as this language and advocacy comes out, that you would support getting dollars to come into Kitsap County so that we can increase that transportation. I also wanted to acknowledge and thank you for all the work that you've done in helping to purchase Mills Crossing. I know it's still in the works, but that commitment of $500,000 is very important. And so we're very appreciative of seeing that effort. And then I just wanted to give you a few updates. Tomorrow, the Conduit is having a legislative roundup where we'll have from 1 to 5 p.m. Someone will be coming on from immigration. At 2 p.m., prison reform. 3 p.m., housing from the Washington Low Income Housing Allowance. At 4 p.m., housing and homelessness advocacy days and resident action project. And then at 5 p.m., transportation equity. And then also this Saturday is Transit Equity Day. It's Rosa Parks' birthday. New Horizon Ministries, Kitsap Black Student Union, G2, and the Conduit will be having an event at New Horizon Ministries from 2 to 4. The good mayor is going to proclaim that day, Transit Equity Day. We're going to feed folks. Kitsap Black Student Union will provide information, and they're going to put on a skit for us. And so all are welcome to attend. We think this is really important, and definitely having our youth, who are our future, to get active and get involved. The last thing I'll mention is our Hispanic family is suffering some racist issues. This Friday, there will be a town hall in Poulsbo to talk about that and to elevate the things that are going on there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Cameron, for that input and those updates. On Mills Crossing, I'll mention the mayor and 2 council members got to take a tour Monday. We talked about it in the pre-meeting briefing, and yeah, fingers crossed that all goes that smoothly. Anyone else for public recognition? All right, seeing none, go ahead and close recognition and go to general business.
First order under general business is approve a contract modification number 2 to the goods and services agreement with At Work Commercial Enterprises LLC for landscaping maintenance and services. The presenter tonight is Internal Services Manager Chris Mottner.
All right, welcome, Mr. Mottner. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Thank you, and good evening, Council President, City Council members, Mayor, and others. I am here to present the contract modification agreement number 2 with At Work Commercial Enterprises LLC. At Work Commercial Enterprises is the city's landscape maintenance and services provider under under city contract agreement number 6244. They maintain 24 city properties for many different city departments and divisions. They have held this contract since 2021. Within this proposed contract modification is the addition of 3 city locations that staff had identified that require landscape maintenance and services. These are Fire Station 2 at 5005 Kitsap Way, Fire Station 3 at 3031 Olympus Drive, and at the city-owned landscape areas located at 606 Burwell Street. These 3 areas are shown on the landscape location maps and marked as locations R, S, and T. The funds for the new added land locations service costs are within the 2023 budget and will be budgeted for the remaining term of the contract. This service amount is $26,470.08 annually for these 3 new locations. Please know that this contract modification agreement number 2 was previously presented to the City Council study session of the Public Works Committee and included a proposed cost for services increase of all locations. This has since been rescinded and is revised to reflect only the add of these 3 new locations. I will answer any questions you may have on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Montner. Does any member of the public wish to comment on this item? Oh, yes, please, Mr. Orlowski.
I'm a little bit concerned that we're doing landscaping for the 606 apartment buildings. I understand we own the underlying land, but they pay 0 taxes. And they don't have to pay any taxes for 12 full years. Seems to me that they could pick up the trash and do their own landscaping.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment on this item? Let's double check any hands on Zoom. Yes, looks like there's one. Yes, Marwan Cameron, please go ahead.
I just wanted to echo that sentiment. If that is indeed true, then I do not believe the city should be picking up the tab for that.
So sorry, Mr. Cameron, the microphone volume's coming in a little soft. Do you mind repeating that as louder as possible?
What I said was, if what Jane just said is true, then I want to elevate her comment there that I do not believe the city should be picking up the tab for that.
Perfect, gotcha. Allowed that time. Appreciate it. Thank you. Anyone else for public comment on this item? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and go to the council for a motion. Councilmember Mockler.
Thank you. Move to approve the contract modification agreement number 02 with Ashworth Commercial Enterprises LLC and authorize the mayor to finalize and execute the agreement with substantially the same terms and conditions as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Councilmember Dennehy. With the motion and the second, we're open for discussion. Councilmember Mockler?
Good evening, Mr. Mottner. I hope that you are well. Excellent. So when you presented this at the study session last week, it had a fiscal impact of $33,677.16 and was going to cover the 2 fire stations and 606 Burwell. And it was in response to a letter from Mr. John Song, who is the Bellevue owner of Atwork, or manager, whichever, asking for an increase due to increased cost of living. In fact, that prices have gone up. More formal language, but that was so far so good. I'm accurate. So this week you are asking for $33,677.16 for those 3 locations, and I don't see a difference between those 2. So could you please clarify the difference between what you presented last week and what you're presenting this week?
Right. So I'm not sure if you have the correct document in front of you. So the agenda bill was modified as well as the contract modification agreement reflect only the new location additions. So the increase of the service costs that were negotiated and requested as part of the previous Public Works Committee meeting session were taken off of that, but the pre-location costs remain as new ads for the contract.
I downloaded this at 3:45 p.m. Has there been an update since 3:45 p.m.?
No, there has not. You show on your copy the $26,470.08.
I do not. I show, it says updated on the agenda bill, so
Take a moment to get on the same page and
literally.
whether we're so under fiscal, your indulgence, Councilmember Mockler, and fiscal impacts on the agenda bill cover sheet. See $33,677.16.
That's what I see too.
The addendum contract, which the addendum contract shows 26,470.08.
Can you tell me what page? Dave?
In our packet, page 74.
On page 73.
Thank you.
So this will be $7,000 less, more or less, than the original cost of living increase. And all of the basis for that is here. Could you explain the basis for the increase? If it's not just a cost of living increase?
It's the three locations as noted in the attachments of additional site maintenance. Fire Station 2, $880 a month. Fire Station 3, $845 a month. On the 606 apartments at $295 per month.
Aren't
Plus taxes.
these the same? I'm so sorry, Mr. Montner, to interrupt you. Please go on.
Oh, that's it.
Aren't these the same figures that we looked at last week?
They are. So this agenda bill and contract modification is exactly the same, except we removed the negotiated service cost increase for all locations from Mr. John Song, the previous request. So
So
these were always within the.
So sorry to interrupt you. Have you finished so I can try not to be rude again? Okay. So this is what we looked at last week, except no cost of living increase.
Correct.
Thank you.
Councilmember Dennehy.
Thank you. Mr. Montner, we had two public comments about the 606 building and the landscaping there. I'm assuming that we own the land and there's a possible leasehold, but could you respond to those comments and what kind of contractual duties are under? Right, so the 606 Burwell Street landscape maintenance services, the justifications for that is after the agreement reviewed by city staff and the 606 apartment building management, it was realized that the city was responsible for agreement for maintenance to the landscape areas around that property. So just to be clear, it isn't only the 606 apartments, it's the city owns the parking level below that, as well as the next level below that, as well as the Park Avenue Plaza garage, which is the cinema parking, as well as
Sure, thanks for that. And just for further clarification, was that agreement made at the sale of the 606 buildings? Is there any way to modify that agreement, or is that in perpetuity?
I'm not positive on that. I can get with legal and check into that. But for the agreement, the new management of 606 apartment building did not want to continue providing that services.
Excellent. And the city already agreed to those terms. That's that agreement was already effectuated. Is that right? Okay, great. Thanks so much. Any other council member for comment or reflection? And yes, then we'll do another round and go back to Councilmember Mockler.
Anyone wishes to proceed?
It's on my hands. You're the floor.
Okay. I would suggest that because here the document that I'm looking at is exactly the same amount that we looked at last week. So I'm still rather confused because the fiscal impact
is the fiscal impact, and they are the same. Is there a chance that these could be, is this a matter of great pith and moment that cannot wait for 2 weeks? That's my real question, my real first question.
Right, and I apologize, this was a late ad that was presented to the council president, and after quick and thorough legal review of the contract modification agreement change, as well as the amendment change, it was added, but apparently wasn't added. In the contracts can be agenda bill. This state, now it's over $26,000, right? So there's no CPI increase. It's just the three new sites that are doing landscaping. So the contract itself that would be executed is
Councilman Mockler, with your indulgence, can I ask City Attorney Fennell, is there any issue with the cover sheet having the fiscal impact? We're voting on the contract, which is correct. Go for it.
I think the contract is clear, as long as the council knows what they're voting on. So in this case, it was originally presented with an agenda bill with one figure. There was discussion. The actual contract was amended. That was included in the packet. That's why the figure on page 74 is different than the figure in your agenda bill. So because of the discussion that's taken place, things have changed. There's been a modification. As long as everyone is in agreement that they are voting on what is attached and not what is in the agenda bill, and if that's clear, you can move forward.
Thank you. Educated yet again by Attorney Fennell. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Montner. Appreciate you standing up here and going through all of this. You have a good evening. I have nothing further to say on this matter.
Oh, sorry, and Councilmember Kimball, please go ahead.
Okay, so I guess I'm just kind of doing the numbers now too. I mean, I saw the discrepancies and I saw it placed down below, but maybe y'all can help me understand. When I do the math on it, we got 8. I mean, is there a tax line item I'm not seeing? So 880 plus 845 plus 295 is 22,000. So, you said it was the contract modification was 26,470.
Right. Can I approach the council bench, please?
Yeah, please do. I just did everything times 12 and I couldn't do this yet. And so that 23.
Sorry to ask just that, Mike, thank you.
The 23,413 was from a different modification. This is a previous modification, not the current modification. Got it. And is there any point in time that we can, I mean, Councilor Dennehy mentioned in perpetuity, but is there at any point in time that we can go back and talk to 606 about renegotiating that arrangement or situation? I don't know, maybe that's not a question you can answer. Maybe that's
Right,
somebody else.
I'm unaware of that. I'm not responsible for that part of a contract with
maybe that's something we should be asking maybe.
Let's keep it germane to the contract right before us.
Okay. Well, the contract right before us is regarding an increase, like we're adding 606. So this is germane, respectfully, to be curious about the contract.
Sorry, just a discussion of future work by public works. If you have a question on how the contract pertains to current. still have the floor, Councilmember King.
I suppose that is all for now. Thank you.
Councilmember Denny?
Yeah, not to overstep City Attorney Fennell's work. I see you're talking over there. My understanding of contracts is new consideration. So whenever that contract,
Councilmember Denny, I'm sorry, please direct comments to this council president, not to other council members.
apologies. So it would have to wait until our next contract. But I think those comments are well taken.
Thank you. Let's see. Oh, yes, we'll go to Finance Director Mike Riley.
So Councilor Denny, that's a great point. We have an agreement with the 606 apartments and Harvard Bar facility. When that's up for renewal, looking at that agreement, I'm taking notes. Look at the agreement. So, thank you.
Any other council members for comment? All right, seeing none, just thank you, Mr. Montner, for walking us through this. And from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, we went out for public bid. This was the lowest responsive bidder. Talking to them, so okay, great. All right, seeing no further discussion, I will call for the question.
Aye.
Yes.
Kennedy,
Yes.
McNown,
Yes.
Yes. Unger,
Yes.
Chamberlain,
Yes.
Coughlin.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 6B, acceptance of Washington State Department of Commerce Projects Program and Bremerton Library HVAC Replacement Project. This author is again the presenter.
Welcome back, Mr. Montner.
Good evening again. I am here to present the Department of Commerce grant approval for the Bremerton Library HVAC system. The downtown Martin Luther King Library has an old, problematic, and inadequate heating system and has no cooling and very little ventilation to the building. This grant will cover the project costs for the new HVAC system for heating, cooling, and a dedicated outside air ventilation system with filtration. In late 2021, the city, in coordination with the city's lobbyist, Brian McConaughey, met to discuss the possibility of applying for a legislative grant and decided to proceed with the 2022 legislative session local community project grant application. On May 4th, 2022, the city received a preliminary award letter from the Department of Commerce for the appropriation of $412,000 for this project. A copy of that letter is included for reference. We have now before you the grant contract that has recently been reviewed by the city legal department and is presented here tonight for council approval. I will answer any questions that you may have on this item.
Cool. Thank you so much, Mr. Montner. And I understand we have representatives from the library here, and I want to give them a chance to present as well if they so wish.
My name is Rhodes. I'm the director of IT. Well, Lisa Rich, downtown Bremerton branch. I'm not a resident of Bremerton. First and foremost, the library would like to mayor, his whole team and public works as well. For the ongoing work and support on this project. So we truly do appreciate all that's going into this. The library does have a proud history of supporting the Bremerton community with a wide variety of things to our patrons. Just last year, all across the county, our branches saw over 130,000 visitors into our branches, with an average of about 3,000 visitors per month here in downtown. One of the important ways that we serve the population during the hottest part of the year is as designated cooling centers. Unfortunately, of our 9 countywide branches, the downtown Bremerton branch has been the only one unable to support that designation of
building. So in fact, there are many occasions during the summer months when we have to shorten our hours, our operating hours at the branch, or even remain closed for a day or several, as the heat inside the building just becomes untenable for our staff coming into the building. The project proposed in the item before you this evening, with the addition of the proposed HVAC equipment, would truly be a welcome gift to the Kitsap Regional Library, our staff, and our patrons. The goal is to provide a more effective and efficient conditioning of the air throughout the building, allowing us to remain open during the hottest days of the summer and continue to serve the community when we would otherwise have to close. So on behalf of our library director, our leadership team, our branch staff at the downtown Bremerton branch, and the patrons that we serve, we encourage your approval of this project and thank you for your support.
Thank you so much for the presentation.
Sure. This is as a resident more than a branch manager of Bremerton. I'd like to add that the Downtown Bremerton Library, oldest and first library in Kitsap County, this beautiful 1938 Art Deco building has secret staircases, beautiful glasswork, and still has original tiles and hardwood. Patrons share stories of growing up in this branch. They bring their kids, they check out books, they do computers, and they in fact sport and are welcomed by friendly staff, often by name. The city of Bremerton dedicated this building to Martin Luther King Jr. in 2007. This building is meaningful to the library staff and to Bremerton residents alike. And investments like this in our community preserve the building and all the good things that happen in it for the future. Thank you.
Thank you all for your presentations. Does any member of the public wish to comment on this item? Checking any on Zoom. We do have one hand. Yes, Mr. Cameron, go ahead.
Hello again, Council. I just wanted to say, full disclosure, I am a trustee for the Kitsap Regional Library. But as a resident, I want to echo Lisa's sentiments. The Martin Luther King Library has unique historical value, and the staff down there really do a great job of serving the community, a very diverse community at that. And as our ongoing climate change issues continue, this is definitely a necessity. As a business owner downtown, we're literally not even 2 blocks away from the Kitsap Regional Library. It just serves that area. And it's just the staff are wonderful, the library is wonderful, and we're in full support of supporting this endeavor here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cameron. Any other member of the public wish to comment on this item? All right, seeing none, we'll go to the council for a motion. Councilmember Chamberlain.
Okay, thank you. Move to approve the local and community project programs grant from the state of Washington Department of Commerce for the library HVAC project and authorize the mayor to finalize and execute the agreement with substantially the same terms and conditions as presented.
Second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We're open for discussion. Go ahead.
Super excited to get free money to improve a building in the downtown core and make it accessible to people in the heat with climate change happening and with everything. That building is old. I love that building and looking forward to see more improvements on that structure itself. But I really appreciate that y'all brought up the point about it being needing to have air conditioning and being a service, a resource for the community. So way to get that money. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to give a shout out to Leslie Doggs on the audit committee, who originally announced this, 3 years ago, 2 years ago? Yeah, in the before times. So this was a really excellent outcome, and I love the downtown Bremerton Library. I am a library geek, and I don't think I've met a library where the people were both so intelligent and so kind. It's a lovely space, and Mr. Montner, every time you have presented on this, you put a smile on your face too. So,
I will allow a quick applause. Thank you, Councilwoman Mochler. Member Denny, I saw your hand up first. No, okay, Councilmember Fry.
Yes, I hope that Mr. Montner didn't give you any indication that we had further questions or were really taking a hard look at this. We really, we put it on general business so that we could acknowledge you and your work. And as a grandmother of two little kids, we spend a lot of time at the library. And I did as well when I was growing up. It's something, and yet you've evolved over time. So kudos to all that you do. And yeah, let's make this happen again, Mr. Montner. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
All right, let me just echo the thanks to you, Mr. Montner, and Public Works for getting this grant money for one of the local libraries. Again, thank you so much to the library. I was there this morning with my 2-year-old son, Max, at one of the many fantastic free programs you offer for it's a great time. It's really nice to have all those free programs in our community. All right, hearing no further discussion, I call for the question.
Dennehy,
Yes.
Goodnow,
Yes.
Mochler,
Yes.
Younger,
Yes.
Chamberlain,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Coughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 6C, Public Works Agreement with Utter Associates Incorporated for audio-visual equipment design and install at Bremerton Municipal Court. The presenter tonight is Judge Flood and Court Administrator Jennifer Johnson.
Welcome, Judge and Administrator Johnson. Please take it away.
Good evening. As we presented at the study session, we're here to get approval to move forward with the Public Works Agreement with Other and Associates. And in the amount of $124,905.06. As previously stated, there are some grant funds from ALC, which amounts to $50,000 per courtroom. The request is in essence to make sure that if there's contract overage, that you're well aware of what that would be, max fee, to make sure that we have what we need to make sure each courtroom is well equipped and functioning to the level that it needs to be. The AV and media grant total amount is $100,000. The contract amount is $124,000. The period in time is 21 weeks. As previously explained, the ALC grant billing and funds need to be in by June 30th of 2023, and that is their fiscal year end. We are anticipating that there could possibly be some additional funds that come in, and we will know that around May. But in order to move forward and maximize the amount of funds that we do have currently available, we are asking for your approval at this time.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the public wish to comment on this item? On Zoom? Yes, I see one, Mr. Cameron.
Busy night, council. Apologize for speaking so much this evening. I just want to give my support to the Bremerton Court and to Judge Flood and just her short time.
One more second here, if you're able to hear us. If possible, the hand's still up from the previous motion.
Sorry about that, council. I apologize for speaking so much this evening. I just want to again give my support to the Bremerton court system and to Judge Flood in her short time as judge. Some miraculous things have been done, and the direction in which the Bremerton court is going in regards to being inclusive with youth and adults and other organizations is really impactful. So I just wanted to say I'm full support of this.
public comment? All right, seeing and hearing none, I'll go to the council for motion. Member Dennehy,
Move to approve the public works agreement with Utter, sorry, is that Utter? Yeah, Utter Associates Incorporated, in the amount of $124,905.06, and authorize the Bremerton Municipal Court to finalize and execute the agreement with substantially the same terms and conditions as presented.
Second.
all right, we have a motion and a second. We're open for discussion. Member Dennehy,
Just a thank you for continuing to get as many grant dollars into the municipal court for upgrades as possible. I know we talked about in study session the need for AV, especially around the folks that might be out of state and the costs associated with that and their criminal record. So thank you for this.
Member Chamberlain.
Okay, thank you. So I'm taking a look. Thank you, Judge Flood, for bringing this to us. We talked about this at our study session. Can you remind me, did we ever talk about this in public safety? Was this one of the grants that you applied for and you came to our? Okay, can you remind me of the month that you brought that to us? By
It
chance,
would've
Jennifer,
been-
do you by chance? I don't know if y'all.
It would have been probably June or July. So these are all grants from last summer. They all went into effect July 1st. All of the grants that we talked about as well as information in regards to the period of time and the acceptance. So I believe I spent maybe 4 or 5 meetings with you talking about grants and in the public safety meeting.
And so I am curious about so it's not a very large amount for our general fund. However, I guess I'm just like for all departments, if there's going to be, and I appreciate you coming to us ahead of time before instead of afterwards saying, oh, our grant money, our grant cycle timing ran out, so now we're in a pickle. So you're coming to us ahead of time to let us know about this. And so one of the questions I had asked. You're anticipating the AOC funding. Now, is this AOC funding tied? Is that application already in and done?
So the money is already granted. The $100,000 is our money.
And so, but if we don't, well, I said we, but sorry about that. If your crew doesn't finish before August, before June 30th, which is the end of the state cycle, correct? Then we are on the hook for a little less of the.
So that's a combination of an answer that I have to give you. There are certain things that the AOC grant anticipates needs to happen. So we know that the cleanup can't happen. So that's where you see I'm putting in the amount of the $7,900 because they will pay that, bill that for the grant funds, as well as all of the equipment. So
even if it's after that timeline, even if it's after June 30th or before, it all has to be before June 30th.
So it's something that they will accept as a part of their reimbursement before the June, I'll put it this way, whatever bills we submit to them on the June 30th date, that is the last day to submit to them, and they will pay all of that. And it's anticipated that cleanup is a reasonable expense to bill. What the issue and what we're looking at is labor. You can't bill that labor that may be running into about 7 days, or there's so many hours that will happen after that June 30th date or later. But again, we're putting forward to you what we believe will be the anticipated costs. Those costs could be reduced, but it would not exceed what we're doing.
Great. So that 7,900 could or could not happen. I mean, that's a really small amount, so I don't even know that I'm worried about it, but it sounds like if the cleanup is done after June 30th, you can still bill it to the AOC. Is that what I heard?
They're accepting that upfront.
Okay.
As a reasonable cost.
But because it's estimated to take 21 weeks,
there will be labor.
And so, okay. Can I ask briefly some of the benefits of having this additional AV equipment installed. One of the things you mentioned, I believe, was that we have an additional calendar that would this support the hybrid meetings with the additional calendar of, like, let's say, the various interpreted services we provide. Is that one of the benefits of this as well?
So the benefits overall is that it's been since 2010 since there's been any upgrades. The upgrades are needed because we now upgraded in technology and how we actually have hearings. We are in somewhat of a hybrid way of having hearings for access, access to justice across all state courts. And when you think about how we do services, we don't do services like we did 15 years ago. This AP equipment and media equipment brings us up to date. And that was one of the reasons why the state allowed for the funds to come in the form of grant for courtrooms, because there's some courtrooms, particularly ours, that hasn't had funding to be able to make the upgrade, get the equipment to meet the needs that we currently experience. We run courts, we run Laserfish, we run JIS. We also have the Zoom. So we're running 4 to 5 different on top of trying to, when things come in from the city attorney's office that may have not gotten in before the calendar, or there's a piece of information that I need to do. So these are multiple screens, and the systems that we have.
Okay, that was, yeah.
So,
I was gonna ask how that new software, because there's a lot of new software this year
Yes,
that's different than other years. And so how's it running on the new equipment that you have? You say it crashes often. This is something you're experiencing. And so I kind of was just hoping to highlight some specifics that would be of benefit from this additional funding, which might include, if you're talking about everything crashing, the hybrid meetings, the Zoom meetings, do those crash while you're in the middle of them?
there's been times where we have to get on.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I don't have any other questions for this. I think, but if it's done sooner than 21 weeks, then we don't need to be on the hook for the 47K of, from the general fund. But since it's estimated it's taking this long, that's what this is for. So, thank you. That's all I have.
Any other council members for comment or questions? Seeing none, I think I just have one, which is kind of more for Finance Director Riley. So right now it's scheduled to come out of the general fund. And I just have to ask the question of, is there any wiggle room in the court's budget itself? If this worst case scenario that not everything's covered that could come out of?
So what you're authorizing is an amendment to the general fund for the worst case scenario. We'll work closely with the court. They are looking at additional grant funding that could tie to this project. And we'll also look through their budget. There's areas they did budget for some AV improvements within the existing budget to try to lessen the impact. We will consider the amendment at mid-year or year-end, depending on how it's looking. So we won't just bring something at mid-year if we don't need to. So it might be something you won't see till year-end to do the actual amendment to the court's budget.
Fantastic. And just thinking across the city on parity, so it's 13 years since 2010. This has been upgraded. I know we've had recent upgrades in this room during the pandemic on AV equipment. Although also IT Director Mike Riley, do you have a broad sense of across the city in different departments, how old audiovisual equipment is on average? That's a tough one.
So luckily I got Dave Sorensen here, our IT manager, who actually worked with the court during COVID and doing our virtual courts, installed what's there currently, and has a good history with the building and all over the city. They kind of do a lot of work that's out there for AV and try to support that. But we have a pretty good pulse, I will say, with that court facility. The sound system when we pushed the building, that building was lacking. Didn't put something in there again. It was in-person court with the pandemic. Came in, put some technology to use with the owl and getting it where it is, but it definitely is due for an upgrade if we're continuing continuing in this new virtual court setting. So, Dave, do you want to add anything?
It came down to we had upgraded like one room prior to this one since 2000. That's how big. The rest of them, when we did the court, there was no money left for the sound system. The sound system in there was actually brought from the courthouse, the temporary courthouse, and this one's put in place. So it all comes down to it's the oldest, and this is the new. And the difference between them is at least 10 years.
Perfect. Thank you for that clarification. Thank you for your presentation, Judge. I have no further comments, questions. Seeing and hearing none there, I will go ahead and call for the question.
Good now,
Yes.
Mochler,
Yes.
Younger,
Yes.
Chamberlain,
Yes.
Fry, Dennehy,
Yes.
Coughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. That concludes general business.
Thank you. All right, we'll now move on to council reports. And since this is the first council meeting of the month, we'll start with District 1, Councilmember Jennifer Chamberlain.
Good evening. Hey folks, can you bring up the slides? This time I'm serious. I have slides for the first time. So I'll try to make it quick. I just want to highlight some parks in our area, and I might do this from time to time. I'm on a park a day personal initiative for mental wellness, for health, for just to appreciate the parks and hopefully bring some folks along with me. I brought several people with me on some of these walks too. So this one, I'm going to start off. This is in Council District 2, not in my district. Full disclosure, this is in Councilmember Fry's district, Madrona Trails. Now, some of the pictures they're just pretty woodsy pictures, right? But there's some really nice things about this trail. This trail has had a lot of work done on it. I know there's a Friends of Madrona Trail stewardship program. They have these beautiful signs that I just learned apparently were a birthday gift from Josh Farley's wife. She got him these wayfinding signs for the trails. It's just beautiful. When I first went on these trails, it just looked like I was accidentally on some property behind the hospital. And now they're just gorgeous. So I highly encourage you to visit Madrona Trails and check it out. They've done some really lovely work. Next slide. Okay, here's my area. This is my favorite little jewel here, Stephenson Canyon. Upper left-hand corner, I went with my friend who was not photographed and found a couple of moms with their little people just playing down in the water at the canyon. Just a lovely moment. At the bottom there, you'll see me standing between that invasive English ivy that's always encroaching on our parks. There's a little hidden waterfall. Well, it's off trail, but it's there. And then underneath where it says canyon, there's a couple of things I want to show, and it's really hard to see. Maybe you can see better on your screens, council members. I got a better picture of our new outflow. I don't know. Yeah, these are just photos from my phone, so they're not going to be the best. But it looks more beautiful in person than it does in this picture. They did a really nice job of creating this it creates a larger space for outflow, and then they planted some shrubs and bushes around. It's looking nice. I know the work isn't all the way done, but when it is done, and in the springtime, it's going to look lovely over there. And then below that picture is the picture of the rubble that we talked about getting cleaned up over on Lewis. I can't remember the name of the court over there, but it is a mess. So it'll be nice to see that area cleared up. Because it's not just that pile there. There's several piles of just metal and concrete. And then I wanted to point out the stairs. Okay, so there's a little bit, most of the area in Stephenson Canyon has those lovely stairs. There's a point down, there's a couple of scramble routes, but it's just a really magical place. Find it, check it out. There's 7 trailheads, I believe. So you can go in at almost any central point of the city over there on the other side of the bridge. So let's go to the next slide. I'll try to zoom through and not take up too much time. Landing. Okay. So this is the little, I call it the gazebo park. So I'm going to do a shameless plug here. The top right hand corner during COVID, when I finished my master's degree, I couldn't go to graduation, but I was able to do an online graduation. And my son, this is our graduation, my graduation. My son's hooded me. I kind of, it's a beautiful space. You can actually walk at low tide from the beach side of Lent Landing. I talk about it a lot to Lions Park. There's a couple of shots at dusk. And then I just wanted to show you, I mean, this is graffiti, like but I loved it. And I just wanted to show it to you. It's some of the words say, do your homework, listen to your mama, and you make my mind bloom. Just some kind of positive. I know it's graffiti, but I just want to share it. I like it. So we'll go to the last slide. Okay, Lions Park. So I don't have a picture of the ballparks this time, but I do have a picture of low tide. Low tide is a really special time to go to Lions Park. You can see so much more of it, and it has this beautiful lands that you can walk out onto, and you can explore all these these things that you wouldn't normally see at a regular time of day. Right now, low tides are coming in around 9:30, 10:30 at night, so you gotta wait for a few more days. Oh, and I just learned that the docks, is it called the coal docks? Is that what we call them? I guess I didn't even know that till recently. So the other two pictures here on the right-hand side is a project that Public Works has talked about, and I went and investigated it and did a little scrambling up on those rocks, and it really is broken. That really does need some help, and that's the outflow at the end of Lebo. I don't know if it's Lebo or Tracyton and Sheridan, and the whole pipe is cracked and crumbling. So I just wanted to show you a picture of that up close and personal. And that's all I have for slides, except I did want to do a quick shout out to Mayor Wheeler, who I learned walks 14,000 steps a day, which is about the equivalent of 6 miles. So I'll give you an update. I worked really hard today to do this. It took me 7 different walks, by the way, because I just, you got to section it. But I got to it. I am today at 14, and this isn't to compete. This is just what happened. 14,752 steps. But I have a weekly average. There's an outlier though, because I did that Dungeness Spit trip, the outlier. But my average is 9,063. And so I don't think I can get 14,000 every day. That's 6 miles. That's 2 hours of walking for me at 3 miles an hour. So props to Mayor Wheeler for walking that much. I hope to be more like you when I grow up. All right, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we'll go to District 2, Councilmember Denise Fry.
I don't have any slides. I just want to share it was really a week of where collaboration and coming together was a big deal. Oh, boy, Lori. I'll make it part of my report. I heard that is it Captain Plum? Captain Plum, Randy. If you're watching, Randy, joke's on you, buddy. The last one, the police officers at Bremerton often participate in community events. And when I ran the YWCA, we had an event called Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. And there were 3 or 4 officers that would come. There's Randy on the right. And they wore these high heels for a mile, walked around in them, in their workout clothes or whatever, were great sports, and got a lot of cheesing because of it. But Randy, these photos that I had taken at the event are now owned by the city. So they will haunt you, my friend. But certainly I wish, and I'm sure everybody that's worked with Randy Plum over the years, good cop, really good cop, and very much a part of the community. So I'll miss you and look forward to hearing about your exploits. So besides those photos that I sent in, Mills Crossing, of course, I promise you, I'm gonna stop talking at some point about how excited I am about this project. But the mayor and council member Mockler and I got to have a tour of it the other day. And these are they were built to be sold as condos. And so the quality of these buildings, of these living spaces is absolutely incredible. I would be honored to live in a place that nice. My favorite part, single garage that a single mom can come into with 3 or 4 kids, close that garage door, be secure, get into her house. Absolutely love that. So much about this project, but it's all about collaboration. These organizations have been meeting for years around homeless issues and affordable housing. And so when the opportunity presented itself, it really came about. And then I also saw the mayor and President Coughlin, I think it was last night, wasn't it last night? At the PAC meeting, police and community get together. And can I just I really love the way you run meetings, President Coughlin, but I love meetings that preachers run. I mean, I don't know the reverend, or the pastor, but he did a great job of facilitating that meeting. And it was wonderful to see our law enforcement with much of our leadership of color there in that room, and all friends, all getting along, working through some tough things were shared. Police chiefs from all over the county were there, listening to people, talking to people, and it felt really good. Just wanted to give you my perception about that, all about working together. So shout out to Josh Farley, Madrona Trails, Be There or Be Square, Sunday, February 26th. 10 a.m. at Madrona Trails. Fern Day, we're going to learn a lot about ferns, hopefully get involved with the work that's going on there that is really vast majority volunteer-led, community-led. Shout out to the Parks Department and Public Works for the roles that they play.
All right, thank you. Next we'll go to District 4, Councilmember Quinn Denny.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to give a big shout out to our legislative staff for putting together and putting on our joint session, and a big shout out to President Coughlin for running it in a very efficient manner. I think there's a lot of work that our legislative staff does to make sure that not only we are performing our jobs very well, but ensuring that liability doesn't run towards the city and pretty much everything in between there. So again, I want to just thank you for that. And then I just had a point of order question. Are there time limits for council member reports?
5 minutes, yeah, I'm tracking on my
Perfect. Perfect, thanks a lot.
All right, next up we'll go to District 5, Councilmember Michael Goodnow. Thank you. Next, Council District 6, Councilmember Anna Mockler. Will also time as I do well.
I have that first slide, please. Okay, thank you. So it's not a granular report like the rest of you did. It's more meta, but hey. This is a photo I like of District 6. It's my intro photo. Next slide, please. So every second Monday from 4 to 6, thank you, Public Works, at 100 Oyster Bay Avenue North, is a town hall. The next theme is Help the Vulnerable. Thank you, Tony Ives, for being speaker. The tentative title for the march will be How to Complain Better. I'm going to move on to the
the rest of the thing. So you're welcome to take the slide down, please. So tonight's council report is on transparency and equity. People of this state do not yield their sovereignty to the agencies that serve them. The people in delegating authority do not give their public servants the right to decide what is good for the people to know and what is not good for them to know. People insist on remaining informed so that they may maintain control over the instruments that they've created. That's the preamble to the Washington Public Records Act, against which many people have often invaded. City Council represents the people who live in Bremerton. It's our responsibility to keep them informed. They may not be interested, that doesn't matter. Information has to be readily available. There's a great deal of information on our city website. It's tracking it down that can be tricky. I'll be working hard this year to educate myself on how to find out everything that's out there so that I can be of use to my constituents. So here's an example. Public Works has plans for the upcoming year. I'm picking Public Works because I'm on the committee. What, when, how, and where they plan to repair, replace, maintain, or install streets, sidewalks, sewers, outfalls, water lines, etc. I will work to learn to where to find all of that information to be a resource to others. And of course, this is the plan. There's going to be overruns. There's going to be cancellations. There's going to be emergencies. Permitting will be delayed or will suddenly arrive. That's perfect human endeavors are pretty darn rare. So to segue from transparency to equity with another example, how does Public Works decide what street work they will do in the coming year? The director has said that they are guided for street work, much street work, by the IMS study, also known as the 2018 Pavement Analysis Report. Well, this report states that the least expensive plan to maintain a network of roads in very good condition, because, quote, pavements typically deteriorate rapidly once they hit a specific threshold. That's page 2 of the IMS. Public Works staff have often said that this is their priority. With this as their guide, I don't know to what extent, but I do know that a major project in 2023 is rebuilding and resurfacing Belfair Valley Road. The fact is, if you're walking around Bremerton or driving around, this is a fact. Many older residential streets are not in very good condition. They're routinely passed over in favor of the newer streets, which follow the IMS recommendations, right? You catch them before they start to deteriorate at all. In my opinion, we should prioritize these residential streets, collected for many years. Doing it as Public Works does, it means that them that's got shall have and them that's not shall lose. Public Works prioritizes road condition over road users. And that's how it's working out. Is there any malevolent intent here? Oh, heck no. It's just, these are the results of it. And I'd like to offer right away my sincere apologies to the very hardworking people at Public Works and Utilities if this sounds at all critical, because it's not meant to be so. They are MacGyvers to the nth degree. They put a great deal of time and energy into maintaining our infrastructure, planning it, and doing it, coming home exhausted. I see these people in their trucks in the afternoon, they're just like, ugh. And they are often covered in unpleasant substances. It's a tough job. And it's our job as council, I think, to look at how all that hard work shakes out to serve the people of Bremerton. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to District 6. With respect to Mayor, maybe that's a sidebar conversation. It's a little unorthodox, but if you can keep it brief, I don't want to have a back and forth here. This is just a time for council members to give thoughts. Yeah, give 1 minute here on the clock.
Thank you. So I just wanted to let you all know, I only do 10 to 12,000 steps. 14,000 is wonderful, but I just wanted to make sure you knew that part. So, thank you, Councilor Chamberlain. I don't like taking credit where it's not due, so I appreciate it.
known about that, not Public Works. Yeah.
I have a bit of a point
Okay.
of order
Thank
real
you.
quick.
Next, yes, point of order.
Point of order. I would like to say he did tell me on the phone.
All right,
You
we'll
can
continue
challenge
on.
me.
District 7, Councilmember Eric Younger. First of all, Council President, would you like to start the clock? You know how verbose. To be fair, I will, but I don't doubt I will need to use it. 5 minutes, starting now.
Great. And then also demanding a full investigation on this steps thing. It's 12,000 or 14,000. I think we should allocate taxpayer money and figure out what the true answer is. Okay, enough of the conversation. So I would like to say thank you to the Parks and Public Works Department who have ongoing complaints about the lack of a gate at Lowenad Park for safety and security purposes. And, I'd like to thank both Public Works and Parks for coordinating that work effort and getting that done. So that's on a serious note. Also on a serious note, you're in District 7, you're a resident or a business, and you have something you'd like to get done in the district, please send an email to the City Council's office. I'll try to address your with that. I've got another like 3.5 minutes.
3 minutes, 54 seconds.
We bank this.
That's 14.
With that,
Thank you. All right, I'm going to give myself the same 5 minutes. I will not use it all. My report, just got a couple slides here as well. Perfect. Usual welcome business. 2 new businesses to downtown I want to welcome, which is Grumble and Wine, shown there on the right. You can read it, the kids have fun for that photo. There's an article on them. And on the left is the Bremerton Mercantile at the corner of Pacific and 4th, which is great to see. And, both of those businesses. Next slide. Next, stuffed animal. And also, although this is not a new business, in fact, quite old, I think it counts to welcome as a new business to the district, considering that just the other week there was a celebration of the nonprofit Roxy Foundation buying the building. And so I think that's a new chapter to celebrate. So congratulations to Councilmember Mike Goodnow, who is the director there, on a lot of hard work to get that going. Next slide. Then, yes, as Councilmember Fry mentioned, went to the PACT meeting last night. I believe it was the first one in person since the pandemic. And I just want to really commend Pastor Johnson for getting everybody together and moderating, the mayor for being there and answering some questions, as well as our police chief, Tom Wolf. I thought he did an excellent job of talking to folks and answering questions and concerns. And I just thought it was a wonderful way to have everyone in the same room, be heard and deal with some tough issues. And I look forward to more of them. So thank you to everybody who was involved in that. And also a bittersweet goodbye to Captain Plum as well. I talked to the chief earlier, and almost 30 years of service with the city. And I know quite a well-liked and respected officer. So Captain Plum, thank you for your service to the city. And last slide I have is a big thank you to everybody, all the department heads, the mayor, Judge Flood and Court Administrator Johnson, fellow council members for coming to the retreat this weekend. I thought we had a very productive discussion and never enough time to tackle every single issue in a city besides of Bremerton. But I thought we made some fantastic progress that we'll keep working on. And wanted to give a special shout out, yes, to council staff for all their hard work in making this come together, including managing all the reservations at the Gold Mountain Country Club, the hard work that goes into planning that out to where how everything's arranged and seating and getting everybody with busy schedules to line up on the same day on a Saturday to spend their Saturday out there working on city business. So thank you very much for that. I thought it was a great meeting. And that's it for the that's it for my report. Council and I will now convene for an executive session for 45 minutes to discuss, quote, potential and pending litigation, items per RCW 42.30.110 subsection 1 subsection I, and action is anticipated. We will adjourn until then.
All right. So as you can see, they are going to break for 45 minutes. I think we'll end it here. I don't know what their litigation is. We'll do an addendum to this so we don't have 45 minutes of just dead air for you to come back and tune in for. A lot of stuff in the city council meeting. Again, please make your voice heard. Whatever is important to you, it's important. And you need to share that out, make your voice heard. That is how change is made. Many voices is what makes change, right? You had Pastor Ellington and Joe come up and talk about the bathrooms, which is important. We're going to have to make sure that we stay on top of that, right? As you can see, their money is going to other places, right? I mean, they're doing landscaping and things of that nature. While landscaping is important and necessary, about $30-some thousand, bathrooms are really necessary. But the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and we just have to continue to advocate, to fight, to not give up, to not lose hope. There are people that are depending on us that do not have a voice, and so we need to continue to push that forward. So I just encourage you to do that. Again, programming note, tomorrow we have a very special event for you. We hope that you will tune in. It's going to start at 1 p.m. Again, I'm just going to flash that on the screen here. It is the Conduit's Legislative Roundup, and that's going to start tomorrow at 1 p.m. We're going to have so many different people on to talk about the issues. 1 p.m. immigration, 2 p.m. prison reform, 3 p.m. housing, 4 p.m. housing and homelessness, and 5 p.m. transportation. So please do tune in for that so that you don't miss out. Also, subscribe, like, and share. The more you do that, the more we are able to do the work that we do. There is so much to cover. There are so many different events. And so we do need your support in order to make all these things available to you and to other people that's important. And then again, this Saturday, we have the Transportation Equity Day, Rosa Parks' birthday. Saturday, February 4th, 2 to 4 p.m. at New Horizon Ministries, 4040 Wheaton Way, Suite 203. All are invited. We're going to feed folks. We do ask that you RSVP 360-373-3000 so we have enough food for everyone. But it will also be broadcast live, so you can click on the link there. On Saturday, Mayor Wheeler is going to proclaim Saturday, February 4th as Transportation Equity Day. Gets Up Black Student Union students will be presenting and sharing information and giving some testimonies around transportation equity and their challenges here that they have, but many of us as adults trying to struggle to survive are also having. So again, we just encourage you to come out and support that, meet and greet, socialize, get to know each other, and have a good time. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening. There is one more program later on this evening. So if you have not subscribed, it's YouTube at The Conduit. It's that simple. And hit that reminder bell so you never miss out on when we go live, because we are constantly going live and bringing you information. All right. So again, we appreciate you so very much. Thank you for tuning in. I am R1 Cameron. This is The Conduit. We'll see you